It into another timeline because I don't even see anything on here. Can you tell me? Let's see what my screen just did. It was really interesting. Anyway, piece of the east, west, north, and the south. I'm sorry, I've got like lip gloss is popping. Anyway, I thought I'd come to you today. I know I've been a little out of commission. Oh, let me fix myself so you don't think I'm being debaucherous. Yeah, I've been out of the mix a little bit. But I wanted to get into the discussion because the energies are heightened. So much happening since our last broadcast. So I'll wait until a few more people check in. Oh, you were worried? John, don't be worried. Remember, fear is anything. Remember, if I'm not here in body and avatar, I am in the ether and I am in spirit. So take fear out of the equation for anything. We're all good. Everything's all good. You're going to only experience the necessary evolution of your soul as needed. You know, it's almost like take medication as needed. This is what's going down right now in the matrix. Why were you scared, John? John, please don't stay out of fear, love. It's unnecessary. Everything's all good. Keep it light. You know, listen, if today's the last day, I say rock it out, live it up, do what you do. You know, go and get that massage. Go and have that lover and tell him how you love him or her. Go and have that slice of pie that you've been avoiding because you don't want the extra 100,000 calories. I mean, live each day as if it's the last and you will never regret anything. Me and my sis thought you were ascended up out of here. I'm here. Oh, I'm ascending, but I'm here. I am here. So I wanted to get into the collapsing timelines. The energies are heightened and we'll discuss some layering effects that is now permeating through to our timeline. We're getting a storm here in Florida, and you know how I am appreciative of storms. Storms bring energy storms bring energy and information. So whenever a hurricane, even if it's man-made, because a lot of what you're seeing out here is man-made, HARP generated, geo-engineered weather. Okay, so regardless of where it comes from, remember it has to utilize the elements of Earth. So no matter how they engineer the weather, it is going to come masterfully to us if we are aligned already with Mother Tiamat. That's why we have to stay in and out of fear. Fear is something that is unnatural for beings. You have the ability to survive all that comes at you, and surviving means that if you understand that you have a soul, not everybody has a soul. If you understand that you have a soul, then you understand that you are everlasting, like an everlasting battery. And that if this avatar leaves, there is a beautiful other avatar that is going to be awaiting you when you are ready to come back into another body. And it may not be on the earth plane either. It may actually be in on your home planet. So let's get into the timelines collapsing. The energies are heightened, as you see over the weekend. Over the weekend, you saw a lot of things in the sky, didn't you? A lot of really interesting things in the sky. Even though the government told you that they were having rocket launching, big up to everybody from the West Coast. Anybody from LA? Anybody from that part of Cali? You must have seen the wonderful third phase of moon. Big up to third phase of moon. Those gentlemen always get it in. I love their footage. Third phase of the moon always gets in the footage that allows you to see what's going on in the skies. Hold on. And then, hold on. Anyway, they had great footage that was sent to them. This is what's nice about third phase of the moon, is that they always have great footage of everything that's going on in the skies. Mind you, family, I'm going to be saying hello to a couple people because this is my neck of the woods. Hey, how you doing? Good. So you may have seen over the weekend some footage. Hey there, how you doing?
Morning.
Some footage showing a rocket. That's what they said it was. Rocket trying to permeate out of our dimension, and it failed. Let me say this again. It failed. You dark Kabbalists can't leave. You're doing all these rocket launches to try to leave flat earthers will love this theory because it goes in alignment with what they believe, that we're covered by a firmament, a dome. You can't leave, dark Cabal. You are going to have to stay. You can use your jump rooms, but the jump rooms aren't working for you anymore because we have collapsing timelines. So the jump rooms you can't activate because we're perpetually moving in and out of the timelines. You're unable to leave. You're stuck with the karmic debt that you've accrued by doing dark, dirty, bastard-like things. Rockets out of that. They're coming and attempting different areas. One in California. There was another one over the weekend that was attempted. Oh my gosh, 12's president. Thank you so much. Oh, you're so beautiful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, the dark Kabbalists have attempted to leave the firmament, and they are unable to do so because they have done dark things. There's a time frame where they were allotted to leave. Many of them thought they were going to try to permeate through because the timelines are coming, with the timelines collapsing. It's kind of like going through a laying effect, like this, like that, like that's like a clock, like what is it, the arms of a clock, the ticking. It's kind of like that. That's how it's going. And what's happening is that they're getting desperate. That's why they're launching all these interesting telephone presidential alerts to try to get prepared for the Nazism that they're going to do, because they're like little bad children that have done little naughty things and want zero consequences. But there are many consequences coming to them and theirs. And this is why I stay out of fear. That's why they're trying to start a war in Mexico. I'm Mexicano, and this is another thing over the weekend. A lot of things happened over the weekend. Okay? I noticed that last time I made a video, if you notice the group's name, it would have told you a little bit about what was coming for the weekend as well. So let me not sidebar and go keep on task. The timelines are collapsing. The Mandela effect was just residue from the collapsing timelines. We thought it was something different. We might have thought they were doing some time jumping. I kind of thought that initially. Family, I know better. It is the collapsing of timelines. The problem is that the Kavanaugh mess, that's all distraction. That's all distraction. The elections are coming up as distraction. The storm coming, that's a distraction. They're trying to keep you from focusing on self and being so focused on the outer world that you're not going to pay attention to your inner world. Please pay attention. Hey, David, please pay attention to your inner world. All that matters is you. At the end of the day, you came into this matrix alone, and you will leave alone. So at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself. And this is to mothers and fathers and aunties and grandmas who love the little ones. They're here just as purposefully as you, but if you don't take care of you, you can't possibly take care of them. Okay? So the layering effects, the Mandela effect is just, you're sweet. I'm grateful. The layering effect collapsing, the timelines collapsing. The energies on the planet right now are sick. Now, many of you are seeing the collapsing of the timelines. Many of you, well, Cypher, big up to Cypher. We did a purposeful time jump. We did a timeline jump. Big up to those who joined me for the 13-day time jump. We actually did a time jump in my group in Cypher, on FleurBrun Cypher, and it worked. And it was interesting because so many people were having different types of changes that were occurring in the timelines. Now, I've jumped through timelines before, but this one was purposeful, and we ended up going to higher realms and frequencies because we required that for this one. We made it purposeful, like we did it together. It was a 13 time jump, and it was amazing. Actually, I got really enamored by one of well, my first timeline jump, and I wanted to stay there. But then I realized that in that particular dimension, even though I liked so many things there because I was going in a higher field, things that I did appreciate before had left. That's why you have to be mindful that when the timelines are collapsing, certain things will stay and certain things will leave, depending on your frequency. Oh, I think I'm covering this. It does feel unreal, Erin. You're feeling it. It's like being in a dream. What's real? Some of you are actually going into your dream state, going back home, to the home that really exists for you. This matrix is a holographic, interactive video game. Let me state this again. This matrix that me and you are coexisting in now, even to have this conversation, or even for you to even hear this, is an interactive hologram, like a video game, that you are co-creating daily with your own vibrational patterns. Your thoughts are creating everything around you, including the people. Now, we could do tests with this, and I'm not going to do it now because we've done this before. I think Cypher and previous to Cypher, we've done this before. We've done chances, like it's just the same thing as I'll give you one fun thing to do, and it'll test the theory. Because if this is a theory and I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you can easily test this and see if I'm wrong. It's the concept of, look outside now and remember, okay, let's think of something like I'll make it something odd, like because it's one thing we used to do when we were young. Bugs. No. I wanted it to be something more purposeful. Hold on, let me think of something that we can all see, because it has to be something that you can prove. Okay. Pumpkins. Pumpkin socks. I'll make it something purposeful. Hey, L Summers, pumpkin sock. Right now, we will say that we're going to see pumpkin socks. We're going to see people who are wearing pumpkin socks, okay? If we're living in an interactive hologram. Now, thoughts are things. And if you know that you are the creator, the co-creator, and you're all experiencing daily or not, we content one particular, it's something that, not something you would see pumpkin socks. Now, just keep that in your head, and during the day, see wearing pumpkin socks. Now, something pumpkin wearing pumpkins, it'll be something weird, but it'll show up. Okay. So I just want you to do that so you can test the theory of this, because if you notice, whenever you think of something, I had to tell my little one this today. She had not plugged in she gets a vacation. She gets a laptop. They give them a laptop at their school. So she had a laptop and she plugged it in, but it was the plug came out. That because she likes to do everything. So I so appreciate this little soul I gave birth to. She likes everything to be so perfect and righteous, and everything has to be in line. She likes to do everything early, and she's always on task, but it did not her lap. It was her disturbances, things, the universe, the chaos that she just a laptop in charge the day of her school, and everything else everything else after that, it's slowing down. What's glitching? Am I glitching? Oh my God. This is weird. Maybe I went into another timeline. This is interesting. I don't see anything different. It is, can't stop, won't stop. You can go back. Wow, it's distorted. If it's glitching, I don't see it on my end. Apparently you see it on yours. Glitching and going to slow motion. Okay, so apparently I'm going in and out of timelines. Remember, the conversation of timelines will also co-create the timeline shifting in front of you. That might be you observing me going in and out of a timeline, or you dipping out of a timeline, or joining me into a timeline. Okay? So, oh wow, glitching. Oh, I've always been trapped. They can't, listen, can't stop, won't stop. This is, okay, is it better? I'll wait until it fixes itself. Okay. Remember, the conversation and timelines is just going to be you observing the conversation. Just the fact that we're having this discussion is going to cause a permeation into another timeline where that is acceptable for you to observe. So I'm just going to keep going. So what I was discussing is that be mindful that thoughts are things. We're living in an interactive hologram. Everything that you're thinking is co-creating, and everything around you, including the people, places, and things, you are the ones creating. Pumpkin socks today. Yes, pumpkin socks, everyone. Pumpkin socks, okay? So for the fact of the matter is, the collapsing timelines, the Mandela effect is just basically the collapsing timelines. Now, where there was a problem and where we had issue is that a lot of times what you were seeing initially were you were seeing the Mandela effect. Now, the Mandela effect is where we had a problem with the Mandela effect, is that is not something notably that would happen so overtly. Timelines collapse. Whenever you go from one particular timeline to another, whenever we go into a different cycle, meaning that we're shifting cycles. Remember, we've ended the past regime, the cycle of patriarchy, and we're going into divine feminine cycle, back into unity consciousness. This is a cycle that we're going into. So normally we go through cycles and we don't get a notable, it wouldn't be noticeable that we would have a Mandela effect, like idiosyncrasy showing up, little innuendos that detail that something's off or something's not right in this timeline. Okay, normally we don't get that. Oh, Spruce Frost, you said Hitler did nothing wrong. It depends on what timeline you came on. Okay, in a particular timeline, Hitler was a hero, and getting rid of a particular type of ET group that was going to cause to rule the planet later on. I don't want to get into this now because the fact of the matter is that Hitler in one timeline is a hero and Hitler in another is the devil, is the demon. Okay, so it depends on where you are and how you perceive things, and also what frequency you are resonating on. Okay, and just to note this on Hitler, since someone just brought that up, if you denote one of my videos on Patreon, you also know who I denote that Hitler was trying to get rid of. Okay, Hitler was trying to get rid of a particular group of Deros that would take over all financial and all institutions and all television later in the future. He had intel that these type of beings would take over the world in the future. Now, would you say Hitler is wrong? Or did Hitler get some information and intel of the days that we're existing in today? Who rules the planet financially? Who rules television? Who rules all of the basic political structure? That's why I say it depends on your frequency and depends on where you sit and the paradigm. Now, to others who've experienced a timeline where he was the devil, that would seem it would seem irrelevant to even discuss who rules anything, because they feel, just like anyone who's experienced a form of genocide, feel victimized and abused under the system. But I will state this: if Hitler was the devil and Jews were in fact under a genocidal system where they were killed in the millions in droves, and according to some of the Jewish intel, are still being undergoing a form of oppression, and Muslims are trying to kill all Jewish people, then why is it that when you walk around New York City, Florida, which is beautiful, big up to the Jewish community in Florida, that there are no Jews hiding their religion and walking around safely and under zero tyranny from wearing their yarmulke? Their synagogues are sitting beautifully and plush. Okay, so I'm just stating. So let's just be mindful of the things that we see in the perception that we see it in. Okay, so you know, they will purposefully create agendas and create a false narrative in order to create a victim umbrella to put them so that you can never speak against a particular group. And that's why you have all these protective societal groups that are, will say, you know, they'll have these statements saying, "Are you're anti-Semitic," even though most Jewish people who are Ashkenazi are not Semitic. They're Ashkenazi. They're Khazar Jews, which are Russian converts. They're not Semitic. Semitics are the Sephardic Jews, which are from Morocco, parts of, you know, what we consider to be the Middle East, indigenously. They're from parts of Africa, Ethiopia, Somalia. So those are Semitics. Those are Semitic Jews, genetic Semitic Jews. So when you say someone's anti-Semitic, you cannot, well, if you knew anybody, you would know not to include the Ashkenazi or the Orthodox Jewish community, which are European Russians that are converts. Okay? I'm just saying. I studied the Talmud and Torah. Oh, you did, Aaron? Aaron, you had about mitzvah? I studied the Talmud, Torah and the Talmud. I studied Hebrew for a couple years, so I speak from a position of understanding the culture and the nationality of the beings considered to be Judaic. Okay, from all perspectives, because again, there's different sects of Judaic people, just like there's different sects of Christianity. Anyway, I've sidebarred off of. I know, family. Whenever I read the comments, I'll just sidebar. I have to be mindful. Hold on. Okay. Oh, for someone who there was a young lady who came over from another channel and criticized me. I'm poisoning myself, which I don't disagree. I have no respect for myself, and all the legitimacy of all my videos lies based on the fact that I drink decaf coffee from Starbucks. I just said to her, if you feel that everything that I'm saying is a lie from drinking decaf coffee, I hope you are not going to the grocery store and buying anything in plastic cups or or accepting anything in plastic, or drinking or smoking or chiefing or you know, everybody has a certain thing that they do that is the least healthy for them. You know, this is my vice, and I could do way worse or better, I'm sure, but it is my vice, and I'd rather not hide it from you and let you know what I do. That's what I do. I'm not out here having reckless sex with random people. It's just I'm not sipping on the yak, and I'm not chiefing all day. I mean, there's other things I could do. I drink coffee. That's what I do. GMO foods, I'm 90% GMO free in my household and what I eat. Occasionally there are things that get in there that are genetically modified. It's just what it is, but 90% genetically. I just thought it was interesting that she she said that. She said everything I said was non-legitimized because I drink decaf coffee from Starbucks. But got to that young lady. I had to think about that while I take a sip. This is my ashe to the young lady who, she came from another channel. She, you know, I more so, I could actually read her her energy. She had an issue with brown women, and she was gonna look for anything possible that I did that was an idiosyncrasy. She don't like brown people. She doesn't, and it's okay because that's who she is. That's her frequency. Listen, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and nor should you ever think I should be your cup of tea. Not everybody likes brown people. Not everybody likes lunars. Not everybody. Everybody has their preferences or their suspicions about certain people based on what they've been conditioned to feel from their youth. So I can't really talk on that. You could feel her frequency as she was going to look for anything about me that was going to confirm that I am the devil in her eyes. So she would create anything that would give her a reason to disagree or not even listen to me, which is fine. Anyway, that's why I say I'm unapologetic. I'm going to continue to drink decaf coffee. I'll probably have to. that's something you'll find out a little later. So that may not even be the case. But for now, bottoms up. Anyway, let's go into timelines. Anyway, so you have timelines collapsing. The Mandela effect was part of us noticing that. The reason why we were having the Mandela effect, which we did not have in previous cycles, is because there were geoengineering weather, and also they were HARP was creating the quickening of the collapsing of timelines, because it was finding portals all over the planet, which was creating a quickening of timelines collapsing. That's why we noticed the Mandela, the collapsing of the timelines. That's why we were able to notably see and experience the idiosyncrasies, the little things that were off in the collapsing. We weren't supposed to do that. We weren't supposed to notice that at all. We were supposed to go through the collapsing of timelines seamlessly. But because we have dark Kabbalists that are non-human, of another species, we are experiencing things that are unnatural because we have unnatural beings on this planet. The planet is organic, yes, by all means, and she has gone through time shifts, and she's gone through different her collapsing of timelines. She does this beautifully, masterfully, seamlessly. She does this. But because there are beings that are causing unnatural occurrences that are messing with the frequency of the planet herself, and also with the geoengineered weather, it's causing influxes that would not be something that would occur naturally. That's all. And yes, Haiti. Let's speak on Haiti just a little bit. Big up to my Haitian family. Ça passe. Ça passe to my Haitian family. Listen, Haiti. I discussed this with another Sea Star briefly. Haiti is going through it. And if you think that all that's happening in Haiti is not, it was one island, La Hispaniola, which has Dominican Republic on the same island. Why is it that Haiti is only having physical manifestations of geoengineered weather that is being targeted to a certain side of the island, and Dominican Republic is experiencing absolutely impeccably beautiful weather and little or no effect from the earthquakes? It is because they are being targeted. Now, there are a couple things that haven't happened to Haiti, and I will say this. Haiti is a very beautiful place that has got a lot of gold underneath their land. It is why I don't support Hillary or Bill Clinton. It is why people who were voting said, how come you're not supporting the Democrats on this side? I just support zero in the political system. But you're darn skippy, I'm not going to support people that expedite children, little Haitian babies, and bring them into Christian states in the Midwest under family. See, as soon as I talk about them, this is what happens. So as soon as Haiti gets hit, you have to realize, I know Haitian people because I come from the French community, French island community. We're very close-knit. French people tend, even Canadians, we tend to keep amongst each other and talk amongst each other. Haiti's land is being bought by tons of outsiders who are buying up all the land, including the Clintons, who are buying tons of land that have gold on it. In order for them to get the resources, watch the movie Avatar. That'll be your homework tonight. Watch the movie Avatar. See what they did to displace these beautiful beings, these beautiful blue avatars living in the tree. What did they do? They had to displace them. They blew up their home, right? They caused havoc so that they could get to the natural resources underneath the ground. So what they're continuing to do to the Haitians is displace them. They're displacing them by sending hurricanes and earthquakes. They can't get a break. Now, there's another aspect on the etheric realm that most people don't know. For the Haitians, back in the days, who won the war against the French, the European inceptors in Haiti at the time, they won the war. They were the most beautiful, and that's why, slavery in itself was abolished, not for anything else. It's because they saw what the Haitians did in Haiti. But in order to do that, they did a mass ritual. A ritual bringing out demons. That's why I'm not a fan using Eurishas for anything, though it may work for you at one point. There will be a payment later. They used Eurishas well, not Orishas in the sense that you use it. They use different beings from other worlds to come in and slay. They love blood, guts. They won the war against the French, and that's why Haiti became independent. But in the same point, they did not close the portal, so those beings need to be fed. Remember, as above, so below. So this is all relative. So because they never closed the portal, there is a requirement for these demons to always have blood. They're bloodthirsty. They're vampiric. They're parasites. And they are rampant all. So in it itself, because this ritual that helped them to win against the French, it's the same thing that's hurting and harming them now, because those demons still require the same amount of blood and tyranny, and it can't happen on a peaceful island. So in it in itself, this is why they are still experiencing tyranny, because that portal, that opening to do that huge major ritual has never been closed. And even though, to my knowledge, they're attempting to try to close it, it's been too big and too long, and these beings are too thirsty, bloodthirsty, and they've been fed. That's why I tell you, don't feed the beast, because when you feed an alligator, it's always going to come back to the same place to try to be fed. And if it's been fed over the years, then oh my goodness, it's going to always expect to be fed, and it will eventually find who to those saving placement. That to all you newer witches, be mindful of doing rituals and things that are chaotic in magic, because if you do not close those rituals, you are now waiting for the next task. And if you don't give them the task because you don't even know that they're there anymore, they will create scenarios to get whatever they want. So for this reason, Haiti is suffering for a couple things. Not because of their own, it's two part. It is from outsiders, but remember, everything is relative. It is from outsiders that are buying up the land, trying to displace them now. But remember, there are deities that are promoting these type of activities that are allowing for this to happen, and it's serving a greater purpose for the type of demons or entities that are still feeding and need blood to feed and to exist. So Haiti in itself is an open portal to many demonics that are utilizing the pain and grief of a people to keep perpetually feeding. And it was the same thing that allowed them to win many, many years ago, but it's the same thing that's inflicting them with pain and havoc right now. So big ups to my Haitian people. I adore you. I want you to, I don't know, I really don't know what to tell you to do. You know, usually I'm very clever at figuring out resolvement, but this is one of the things I don't know. I would need more of the spiritualists to come together collectively to find out how to close that portal. And I wish that we would get all the Santerians, Voodoos, people, the masters, to come together to close the portal. Because I think you're going to need a collective unity consciousness to be able to close what was opened many, many years ago that was helpful to the people there. And it's very sad. It's very, very sad. And I wish you all the best. I do. The Haitian babies, I see the babies, such heirlooms, and it's so very chaotic. And like I said, that's why Dominican Republic is not getting that. It's only Haiti, and it's the same island family. So that's how you know it's unnatural. You were taught that the Orishas are gods. The Orishas, gods, remember, okay, Orishas in itself, remember, they represent two sides of the same coin. They can be, just like you have certain deities that represent nurturing and loving, like Kali, she's the nurturer, she's a mother, protector, but to others, she is a demon, she is a chaotic person, she is warlike. So for every god, there is an opposite side of a god, which is a devil. Okay, so everything has two sides. And because of that, we have to be mindful when you're engaged. Now, some of our masterful priestesses and people into the occult have a knowledge and know this. So this is nothing I can't, it's like preaching to the choir. They already know, and they know what to do. But for those young people engaging in all these rituals because they're learning their divinity and they're loving themselves and they're finding the magic in their souls and they're finding new crafts to overcome some of the obstacles in the matrix, I think it's beautiful, but I just say be mindful. That's all. Just be mindful. Be mindful of all you do. I always say this, and this is why I will stay very balanced. You will always be supported if you do things to protect yourself. You can always protect yourself. The universe allows you to protect yourself, and the universe also allows you to I always get nervous when these males like to stand next to my window. Don't stand there. The universe will always allow you to protect yourself and heal yourself. There will be zero consequences for you healing yourself or protecting yourself. That's it. So those are things that you're allotted to do in the spiritual sense of spells without getting a big repercussion or a ricochet, okay? But when you're doing things that are debaucherous and harmful to other beings, manipulating and hurting others, there is a deep consequence for that. So you have to be mindful. So let's go back to collapsing timeline. So I know I always go sidebar. I apologize. This is part of being a Sagittarius, and I'm a triple Sag. So I'm just all over the place. So the collapsing timelines is now unnatural because we have CERN, and we don't have one CERN. We have CERNs. We have all these, this technology that is on different ley lines of the planet. It's not just in Switzerland. It is not just there. People have a tendency to just focus on CERN, which is in Switzerland. I think it's Switzerland. It's not just there. They have one in Connecticut. They have one in Hawaii. They have one, I think, in Thailand. They have them all over the place. These hydro colliders, these colliders, energetic colliders, okay? So they're everywhere. So don't think that they're one. That's why we're having a collapsing of the system, and we're seeing it. Now, with the collapsing of the timelines, and why this event is very important, is that this event will disallow this to happen. Now, the event will make right everything that's out of balance. This is why that's why they're distracting you right now. This is why the election is being, I mean, there's so many talks about election. This guy, Kavanaugh, is being talked about. You've got everything possible. You got false rockets with beings trying to leave the firmament, trying to leave the planet. They can't. They want off everything that is unnecessary, has nothing to do with anything other than them just trying to do a bait and switch. Okay, the real deal is the event. And I don't know if anybody got this. Let me just state this. I don't know if anybody got this, but last week, no, it was this week. What was it? What was it? I think it was Monday. Monday, I was going to pick up my little one, and I got a alert. Now listen to this, family. That's how I know that they're messing with everybody's technology, and I'll get into that in a minute with the collapsing the timelines. I got a message on my phone that disappeared in almost less than a message. It appeared and disappeared as quickly as I saw it. On my alert on my phone. Now remember, our alert in the States, for anybody who's not Hadron Collider, thank you, Tiana, who's from the States, knows that we got this presidential alert last week that was interesting because everyone had it. Every phone got the alert, okay? Other than a few anomalies of phones that did not get this alert, okay? For the most part, most people in the United Snakes of America got the alert. I got an alert on Monday. It was like an Amber Alert. It beeped, and then look at this. Listen, family, I want to see who else got this. It said this was a residential alert. Listen to what it said. It's a residential alert to turn off my phone, and it disappeared. Now, when I went to go look at my phone to see what the alert is, because sometimes it keeps the residue of it, it was gone. Did anyone get a residential alert that told them to turn off their phones? I got it was on Monday. It was a residential alert. I've never seen that before. And it said to turn off my phone. I don't know what that is. And when I went to look for it, because I like to take phone pictures of it, it just disappeared. It did disappear, Pekka? Yeah, it was weird. Very strange. So at that point, alert, and I immediately, because I felt like something was wrong. I didn't know if it was ET based. Sometimes the ETs like to do that as well. Sometimes you'll get messages from governmental agencies, at least I do on the phone. So I don't know. Ashley, but if it disappeared, we could have gotten it and just didn't. It could be that it was on there. I just found it interesting, and I wanted to ask if anyone had gotten that alert. It was a residential alert, and I've never, like I said, I've never seen anything like this one. Hey, on my phone. Okay, so Mesh got one. Something was off. My phone is usually off. Did not. Okay, so a few of you did, and a few of you, okay. They're testing the phones, and they're also testing to see, they're testing because, yes, martial law is something that I think that they're going to utilize the phone to do, to tell FEMA is a part of this. And for many of you who are part of the prepper community, big up to my preppers. You know, I'm a 10+ year prepper. And one thing that we were noticing many years ago, I think 12 years ago, is that they had coffins. Remember the FEMA coffins? Many people saw it. It was like a big deal. And the, it was considered back then, it was considered the conspiracy theorists, the preppers, the doomsday people who thought 2012 was coming anyway. There was a whole bunch of coffins around. Now, it's interesting that fast forward, 12+ years later, that now we're seeing FEMA take such a strong presence in our emergency, our emergency state announcements. Like on the news, you see FEMA representatives, you see them on YouTube, you see them on Facebook. Now all of a sudden you're seeing all these FEMA representatives taking center stage, making announcements now for the hurricane that's happening on the East Coast in Florida, and West Florida, on the coast. On the West Coast, you're starting to see them make announcements already for people, telling people to evacuate. Listen, family, I told you this before. They're trying to clear everybody off of the coast. First of all, we have the red tide, which is still here, which they're not bringing up often. There's tons of marine life that are dead, okay? Not only that, they keep having storms along the coast. And it makes me know and further solidify that they're trying to get people away from the coast. They are muling people or directing people off of the coastlines. And if I did not know any better, there is something that's happening in the waterways that is so much more deeper than anything that we could possibly perceive at this point. The fact of the matter is, the red tide is here. Now, red tide is not totally uncommon. I will say that. For those who are not living near the waterways, red tide does happen. Especially when there's a little pH of the water is a little off, and it occasionally get red tide, but it usually disappears. This red tide is staying. It is causing more havoc. I think Miami beaches, some of the beaches were closed in Miami. It is causing sicknesses, inhalation wise. Now, and many of you know that my mother caught Legionnaires up here in Florida, which I also think is linked to the red tide. They are doing a lot of things to distract you and to cause you to fall off of your path that you have chosen, especially if you're here for the ascension. The collapsing timelines are happening, and I want you to try to keep focused, just like we did our own little purposeful jump into other timelines, higher frequency timelines, and cipher. I want you to try to keep your focus and your head in a very conscious high state so that you can permeate into higher fields of consciousness. Listen, I'm talking in a video. You will stay in the time and frequency. So if you're always fear-based, if you're negative, if you're always talking that you're being attacked, if you're always talking, you will, when the collapsing the ones that will stay and the residue that stays on top, because remember the timelines, we're going to 0 point. We're collapsing into 0 point, but the time and be more cohesive only be those that are more into the frequency of whatever you're in. I love when you get a gust of wind. That's the ancestors. It's always like the ancestors touching base. I lost train of thought. Hold on. It takes me a minute. Baby on the brain. Okay, so you will match the timelines that you are in. So even with the collapsing, let's say there's a timeline. I'm gonna take. Okay, let me pick one of you. Where's Summers? Eric, where are you, Eric? Eric, are you on here? Eric Summers? Where's Eric Summers? Eric, where are you? I'm gonna use as an example. There we go. It came back. Anyway, so okay, so Eric Summers is he is a musician. Okay, so he does hip hop. I like his hip hop. It's very old school. He knows I like old school, so I'm a little more biased when it comes to Eric. So Eric is in his day. He's making sounds and beats, and he's working with new I don't know, new electronics. Okay, so Eric is having a great day. Then all of a sudden, he he has this epiphany, and he uses a new beat, and it feels so good. Oh my God, he's like, the way even better if I bring that free. As the days go, acknowledging how it feels, everything will be in alignment with him. Sing over and like this. We're collapsing like a time clock, timing, but it isn't. It's because he's in the flow. Okay, I use that as an example. Take a sports person. A lot of, oh my God, look at my face. Something just scratched my face. Look at this, family. Look at this. You demonic beings like to scratch me. I want to give you ether. Look at the scratches on my face that just happened during the live. This is what happens when the dark ones don't like me sharing the gems with you. They can do this all they want, but they will fail because I will heal myself. I will be fine. I'm grateful for my good health and my good frequency and my allotment to share my family here. But I want to show you what happens to those who try to stop me and scratch me up during live feeds. There's so this come up time me this because this is what happens when you work with demon deities. They do things like this. I'm not working with anything, but I'm on a live here, and there are beings on here that are very nasty. They like to watch my videos because they're obsessed with me, and they like to give me little scratches and everything. But guess what? Can't stop, won't stop. I'm gonna still make the video, and look, I'm healing myself as we talk, because the more that you do dirty things like this in the light, I'll get you at night. Unfazed. Look how it's healing itself. It's disappearing. I want you to see this because I want you to note that we are living in a world of the unseen. And many of you think that you're just walking and talking in a world where everything is cohesive and nothing is written, nothing that you can't see is unwritten. There are things that coexist within our realm, and people can energize if you're speaking about things. But what you do is you stay out of fear, you stay in alignment, you stay in your power. And as you see, as we're going on live stream, I'm healing myself because I have that power as an elemental to heal myself and regenerate myself. And I will give them a party pack tonight when I go to sleep in the ether, and then they will be disintegrated, and all attached to them will feel the wrath of FleurBrun. Stop. So I did L Summers. Then let's talk about, because you know that I was previously married to a sports figure. So let's talk about someone in basketball. We have a basketball player who's playing basketball. I'm giving you examples of what happens when you stay in a frequency and why timelines collapsing will stay in a frequency that you are observing and you are acknowledging. And if it's in a heightened one, you will see remnants of it permeate through with the collapsing timelines. So we take a back. He's now playing, right? They're in the fourth quarter. Team is really keeping up. But there's one player who hits a 3-shot from the sideline. He hits it swoosh right into the net. He's feeling good, like he feels like a God now. His homies are cheering for him. He's in home court advantage because he's playing on his own home court. Everybody's cheering for him. He only needs another 3 to make it so that the other team doesn't have enough time to even come about. He's running. He's feeling good. He's seeing his woman, the girl that he's in love with, that he's about to ask her to marry her. She's looking at him. She's winking at him. She looks so good and yummy and tasty in the seats on the side court. And also his homeboy just pat him on the back. Is like, you got this. You got this. Next thing you know, he goes to the side. He wants to do a layup. He backs up. He's like, nah, I want to take this shot. He backs up 3 steps, 4 steps, bam. He does another switch from the sideline. What does he do? It goes in. He's matching the frequency based on soundically in alignment with that. You'll see it all the time when you see sports figures when they're really high in vibration. It almost looks like they're gods when they're playing. It almost looks like they're in this space of like perfection and enlightenment. It goes in alignment with all this. And I only share these 2 things with you, and maybe they're very mundane the way I share it, or not as exciting, but I share this because a lot of times you don't realize in the zone. Thank you, Patarat Tat. I like your name, Patarat Tat. Yeah, he's in the zone. But this is the same thing. We think it's only with sports figures, or like El Summers is an artist. We see that with them, but we should take note that it's not just them, it's with us. So if you're in your day, like today, right? I'm in the zone, right? I'm wearing my rainbow. Look at my rainbow. I'm wearing my rainbow dress today. So I'm feeling very, very sparkly. The weather is windy. I love the wind. The wind is coming. My face cleared up from the demons trying to attack me. Look, I don't know. I think I'm off. Okay, I'm back. Can't stop, won't stop. I feel good. I'm in the zone. The weather's coming. I get excited when storms come. I really do. I know you think it's a little odd. I'm an elemental, so storms feed me. So whenever a hurricane or storm's around, I get the energetic intel, because with hurricanes, ancestors speak from other ley lines. So I'll get intel from our ancestors in Africa, because every time a hurricane comes, it collectively uses the elemental field to build and become. I'm back. Gotta love YouTube. Cheers, YouTube. Cheers, YouTube, for giving us a platform that we can talk and interact with. Cheers to YouTube. I'm grateful for YouTube for allowing all different beings from all different permeated timelines to converse and coexist with one another, to interact. I'm grateful to YouTube for giving us the freedom to express ourselves. Yes, the storms. So along with the collapsing timelines, we have these masterful storms, and storms bring information. That's why I say to you, I would give a suggestion to my family in Haiti, for all the people in Haiti. I would suggest this, because the elementals kind of permeate, the elementals in themselves, the fairies, the gnomes, all those other beings, they tend to be able to turn off things and close or change vortexes and redirect the portals to align them with an opening to another realm. So I'm wondering if we need our Haitian famille in Haiti, instead of trying to close the portals, can we redirect the portals and change the what is it called, like the dial? Change it so that it's open to another realm rather to the realm of the demonics. So I'm wondering if they can go outside and dance, because I'm a fan of dancing. And I would say this to my Haitian family. I don't know if they'll do it or not, but they're very musical and they're very, very spiritually astute. Remember, they come from a bloodline of the Anunnaki. So they have abilities. That's why they're also being suppressed as a people. I would ask that they go outside together, especially the women, and dance. Dance in the rain, dance in the wind. Talk to the ancestors, talk to the wind, converse with the energies, get the intel of the of the weather, and take it and transmute it and utilize the elemental components to be able to change the dial of the vortex and pull in another, go to another location where there are positive beings coming through that. I wonder if they can do that without clothing. I'm not a fan of clothing, but these are native, Haitians are very almost pure in their heirloom DNA. I don't think they'll have a problem being clothless. Dance, dance to the beat of the heartbeat of the, the earth. Dance to do that. If I was there with clothless dancing and bringing in the beauty and bringing in, dialing in a new, almost like a Stargate, dialing in a new location so that that open vortex is dialed to another location that's more positive. I would love if they were able to do that. That would be my, if you have any, my Haitian famille is always on here. Any Haitian, I would say to do that, especially those from the States. I say to fly over there, even dance in the rain, because listen, when we are crying, we're yelling in grief, we're feeding those entities. We should give them no food. Don't give them any food. Dance, because just like some of those who were on the slave ships, some of the slave ships that you believe existed, depending on your timeline, some of those people jumped off to the sea as opposed to going to a land or with people and being taken over. Why defeat yourself? Why take a defeatist stance? Dance. If you're going to die, and there's no such thing as death if you have a soul, then dance in the wind. Take out your avatar yourself. Stand outside in the wind and allow the elements to move with you. I would love it. If I was there in Haiti, we'd be clothless, like at the sisterhood, and we'd be dancing outside in the hurricane. I would. I think a lot of times when women are grieving, I think all they have to do is dance. That is, anytime I have a sea star talk to me, when I cried every day because I was heartbroken, I danced every day. Every day that I cried is every day that I danced. And as you see me today, I'm grateful I'm in a better position. But I utilize my movement and the toning frequency of music to allow me to transmute all that I felt was adverse to me. And it really did a beautiful job. So I think a lot of times all you need is good music and good company. Dance it away. Maybe I'm a dancer, so that's what I think it solves everything, but it solved everything. It solved a lot for my life. So I always say dance. If you're sad because you've lost someone, dance. If you are sad because your life is not what you expected, dance. If you're upset at the world and you're mad at your President Trump, dance. It'll heal everything. And if it doesn't heal anything right away, it'll make you feel good, at least at that time. It does. Dancing solves all things. I believe that, Shadow. Yeah, death really don't die. There isn't anything that dies. Everything transmutes, everything transcends. The only thing that dies are those that are unnatural. Those beings that are unnatural, entities that aren't from here, that were created by man. Those beings, they clock out. That's why they're the ones. That's why we can't always jump on everybody's bandwagon, because not everybody has the same stake in the matrix. Some beings were created and genetically homogenized, so they're not real. So when they clock out, they literally clock out. It goes to black. It fades to black. And that's why, you got Rothschilds and everybody getting 10 heart transplants. They're trying to sustain their lives because they know that once they're done, they log out. There's nothing at the end of the rainbow. There's no rainbow for them. There's nothing at the end. This man has he's got a coffee in one hand and he's got a latte in the other. Oh no, he's got a frappuccino in the other. To the original person, we'll have to do a video on that. So let's go back to the timeline collapsing. So family, The event is upon us. Some of you have already saw residue of the event already. I hear it. Over the weekend, we had a couple things happening in the sky because beings are trying to leave because they're unable to stay. The storm's coming. And remember, after every storm, there's going to be a rainbow. But and remember, there's also a pot of gold, too, at the end of the rainbow. So remember to keep your eyes on the sky. Be unafraid of it. The only thing that you have to fear are the things that stop you in your own life. The only fear that you should have are the things that you do to your own self in your own life. You're the co-creator in everything that you do. And even with the collapsing timelines, if you stay in a frequency that's cohesive, like if you want to be in only the timelines, remember, timelines collapsing will pick the frequency that matches you the most. So even when it's collapsing, there's several different timelines that we're coexisting in. There was a time in your life that you were in a fork in the road that you chose not to go to college, okay? And there's one that you chose to go to college. There's one when you had a baby instead of going to college, and there's a whole bunch of timelines. When they collapse on top of each other, the one that's in preference, the one that stays the most, is the one that the residue that you're already holding in the frequency that you are right now. So whatever you have at your hand right now, or on your frequency or your vibration right now, that's when it collapses. It holds that one right there. So when you collapse, if you're living in your highest and greatest purpose, everything when it collapses will only keep the resonance. Did someone just ask me? Someone asked me something telepathically. I will answer this question. Clones can't grow hair. It's the one thing they can't do. There's one young lady on YouTube who totally changed, and she wears wigs all the time. She doesn't wear her natural hair anymore, and she looks totally different. She actually looks beautiful, but she looks totally different, a thinner version of herself, and she only wears wigs. I think she's a clone now. Listen to Al Yankovic. Al Yankovic, back in the days in like the 90s, I think many of you know Al Yankovic used to make all the songs over. He's like, I think you're a clone now. It doesn't seem to be anyone around. You know, listen to that song. Yeah, she wears wigs. No. This young lady used to only have her hair natural, just her hair. And I noticed that when I saw her, she's changed. She's thinner. Her face looks thinner, more etched. She's a beautiful, young, a very good-looking woman. Even before her cloning. This is my perception, and it may not be real. I'm just saying I know clones when I see them, and this is just my opinion. But you know, when I saw her looking different, and then I noticed that she's wearing wigs, all different wigs every day. And I'm not everybody who wears a wig is a clone. Let's be appropriate. Let's be mindful. Not everybody who wears wigs are clones. That's not true. A lot of women of color, especially women of color, like to braid their hair underneath, have these beautiful braids and cornrows underneath the wigs, and they wear them. So it's not always true. But the young lady that I'm talking about that's on YouTube, I just noticed she looked very, very different, and she's wearing wigs all the time, and her hair was natural. Wasn't anything that, and it could be that maybe she was sick. I don't want to state that, because if she was, I'm very sorry for even making that. But I just found it interesting because I know clones do not grow hair. And clones will look different, a better version of themselves, a cleaner version of themselves when they replace someone. And I just noticed this young lady, she looks different, thinner, and she no longer wears her hair, her own hair. Anyway. Someone asked me that in my head. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe she was sick, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. Some people get sick, and that happens. But, the things that I note as cloning, because we're in this world, and, I'm in the world of conspiracy, there are beings here that, no, this one didn't put her hair in a protective style. I disagree. There's women who put their hair in protective styles. This one is different because, remember, on YouTube, she's always had her hair out naturally. usually when I see something like that, remember I'm a woman of a certain age, so women start to get sick as they get older. Sometimes women get all kinds of things that happen with them, maybe surgeries, all kinds of things. We should be grateful when we're healthy. I'm grateful that I'm healthy, and that's what we should be grateful for. But I'm saying, when I saw her look so totally different and only wearing wigs, that to me is a red flag. That's all. I think she's lovely, um, as far as the way she looks aesthetically. Someone asked me, do I resonate? Many of you know who I'm talking about. Do I resonate with her? I think what she states is, relative to those who are aligned with her. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she's wrong or right. I think what she states is, what she speaks about it is relative to, um, don't get me wrong, her wigs are fabulous. My hair is messy all the time, so I can't really talk on women who wear their hair beautifully and aesthetic. My hair is messy. Ever since I've given birth to children, I just leave my hair as is. I wash it. That's all I can say is my hair is clean. Grateful my hair is clean, but I wear it the way I am. It is what it is. Oh, I'm not talking. No, don't talk. I'm not saying anything negative. Clones, listen, if I'm talking about a clone, I'm just speaking of what I think someone is. I don't speak about, unless someone's doing debaucherous things. The young lady I'm talking about, I don't see her as doing anything negative. I've never even said so. She is who she is, and I've never even stated who it is. Some of you know who she is, some of you don't. Yeah. Um, why'd I go off on clones? Oh, that's all I had to say is clones don't grow their own hair. And clones usually, now another thing with clones is they tend to be beefed up when they first come out of the cloning centers. Beefed up meaning they're beefed up with hormones, because they have to be, to stay in that stasis while they're in those tubes, those big huge tubes. But then when they're released, they're beefed up, so they're usually bulked up, but then eventually they get really thin. They get really, not thin, but uh like like someone who's just smaller, a smaller version, especially if they were chunky initially. So it depends. Or my St. Lucian. My daddy is a Martinique. Well, my family are Martinicans that are St. Lucian. So half the family is from Martinique, half the family is from St. Lucia, but they're one and the same people, because when Martinique had its volcano eruption, they all moved. A lot of them moved to. That's on my father's side. And they moved to St. Lucia, and most of the people know my family in St. Lucia. Big up to the Mont Plaisirs. Yeah, they've been there for years. So yes, I am St. Lucian and Martinique by, and the Panamanians don't like when I don't say I'm from Panama, because we have quite a few people from South America. So that's Central America, but Panamanians are in the family too. Big up to St. Lucia. If you go to St. Lucia, go to the Pitons. Pitons are very beautiful. A lot of people go to get married in St. Lucia. It's very beautiful. I'm going all kinds of stuff. That's one of my videos too long when I'm going sidebar. All right, family. So be mindful. The event is here. The event is here. I will say it again. The event is here. Watch your thoughts. Be mindful of the thoughts that you have. That's all I'll say. It's not really in your action. Thoughts and actions usually coincide with one another. Watch your thoughts. Stay off of television, because they will work with your fears, because the archons are working very hard to keep in your fears. So I have to be mindful. Like right now, they're putting something in my head. I can feel them telepathically trying to put something in my head, because they know something that you guys will find out later. So they know something, so they're trying to put it in my head. So I say, listen, I'm aligned and balanced, and I accept all that is in my highest and greatest good. I want beautiful things for this planet, and I am so in alignment with everything necessary to heal children and women, so that we can get to a happy homeostasis, and that is it. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, for those waiting for the event, it's nothing to wait for anymore. It's here. It'll unfold as it should. And it'll be much, much stronger than anything the rainbow had to bring. Oh, you're back. Oh, it's a glitchy day. It's a glitchy, glitchy day. Anyway, can't stop, won't stop. You could try. Your efforts will be so thwarted. It's amazing. But anyway, stay in alignment, y'all. Keep your eyes on the sky. Don't do anything that your higher mind is stating. And higher mind just means things that you don't feel aligned to do. Just don't do them. Action is not always required. Sometimes it's required to stay still. Okay? So I'll come to you later. And for those who are about to experience the geoengineered hurricane, my advice to you: to always stay aligned with the elementals, because they have the greatest purpose, and they're aligned with making sure everything's cohesive. And take the intel from the hurricane. Listen to the cues from the hurricane. It will tell you all that you require to be safe and to be aligned with it. And remember, storms usually bring a lot of intel and a lot of change. And it's okay to have intel, and it's okay to have change. Those are the necessary things we need to evolve. All right, so I love you. Have a wonderful day, a masterful day. Enjoy, live today as if it's the last, so that if anything happened tomorrow, day after, it wouldn't matter, because you lived it up. You did what you had to do. You stayed in your higher mind. You can literally say, I've left my avatar and I've did everything that I would desire, and I have zero regrets. Okay? That's what they don't want you to do. Stop paying attention to politics. Stop paying attention to the darkness. Stay in alignment with the light, with acknowledgement that the dark exists. But stay in the light, because you want more of what you are already putting in your head. All right? Love you, Bubba. Peace.